Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. And we're going to look at this news story. Surprise, surprise. Saudi-led group of oil-producing countries gets major climate report scrubbed from UN negotiations. This is from June 28th, 2019. What is going here? What's going on here? Okay, I don't need to read all that. Saudi Arabia has successfully lobbied for a major climate change report to be scrubbed from international negotiations on limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 C. Thanks, Saudi Arabia. You guys are showing yourselves to be one fine country that everybody can aspire to look up to. Does that make any sense? I don't know. But the U.S. aspires to be real friendly and sell lots of arms to Saudi Arabia and prop them up, being, an extremist dictatorship, radical dictatorship that they are. Yeah. These are the people we like to keep close to us. The Saudis led a loose coalition of oil-producing nations, including the U.S., Russia, and Iran. Hey, Iran's in that club. That objected to the science behind the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Wow. So, in this, we are allied with Iran and Russia and Saudi Arabia. Gosh, guys, isn't it all very cozy in here now? The report emphasized the need to keep warming down to 1.5 C as a matter of survival for many countries and called for drastic action to reach this goal. Drastic, with the whole world needing to hit zero emissions by 2050, if we even make it that far. However, as a result of the Saudi-led intervention, this landmark report was blocked from formal climate talks at Bonn this week. This will substantially weaken its influence on future policy. The final UN report had just 5 watered-down paragraphs on IPCC findings explaining that they were based on the best science available, without including more concrete information on how countries could reduce emissions targets. Many diplomats were disappointed and still urged countries to use the findings of the report to inform decisions or infirm decisions. I don't know. I'm kidding. Carlos Fuller, lead negotiator for the Alliance of Small Island States, told Climate Home News, when anyone is trying to discredit the science, it is worrying, especially in the middle of a heat wave. We are the ones suffering if others reject the science. It's a heat wave. There's a big heat wave, and it's just going to last a long time. Ouch. Ambassador Lois Young from Belize, who is the chair of AOSIS, said disregarding or qualifying the best available science is tantamount to climate denialism. Dung, dung, dung. We must not permit even a whiff of denialism in the multilateral process. We must use the IPCC's special report on 1.5 C to operationalize the Paris Agreement. It took more than 2 years to produce the IPCC report, which included the assessment of more than 6,000 scientific studies. The aim was to help those in power to ward off climate change and support sustainable economic development. A diplomat from Costa Rica said the IPCC report was a tremendous achievement on climate change. Listening to the science is not a choice, but a duty, he added. Other recent developments have hampered efforts to tackle climate breakdown, including the UN failing to agree to a zero-emission target and the release of a draft text from the G20 summit that looks to water down climate change targets. So, one attendee at Bonn told the BBC these decisions were the result of backlash from countries with huge investments in fossil fuels. Yeah, so the governments that are beholden to fossil fuel interests and large corporate interests and the media corporations that give you your news, who are also beholden to fossil fuel interests and large corporate interests and military industrial interests. They are not your friends. They are not about giving you real news. They are not about giving you actual facts, factuals. There's one for a conspiracy theory. They're not telling the truth. The IPCC is giving us, or the UN is giving us fake news, possibly, right? They're not telling the truth. Anyways, let's move on. This is a great, awesome, stupendous, wonderful thing that Bernie Sanders has done, and it is also hilarious. Bernie Sanders put a page on his website listing anti-endorsements, basically listing the billionaires and the CEOs who hate him, who do not want to see him succeed, who want to thwart his efforts to become president so very badly that they will do anything in their power to do so. Again, if you're not aware, this is a progressive news channel. This is not just climate change, but politically progressive. So, I like to attack conspiracy theories and or fake news from the left. And I like to call out people who are basically corporatists, basically right-wingers, hiding under liberal, idealism, or hiding behind liberal propaganda. Many of the news companies that bring you your news are, they say they're liberal. They're trying to make you think they're on the left. They are not on the left. They are on the right. They are fascists. They are supporting the corporations and the military industrial situation. So let me just read a little bit of this. But this is just awesome. Asking if you want to know who's really is, on your side, or who's really going to take the heat, or run the gamut for you against the large corporations, who's really going to go up against them. If you really want to know who is the actual enemy of the corporations and the fossil fuel companies and the military industrial people, it is this man, Bernie Sanders. I am proud to announce the modern-day oligarchs who oppose our movement. Asking the American public to judge his 2020 Democratic presidential campaign by both its supporters and its powerful enemies, Senator Bernie Sanders on Wednesday unveiled an anti-endorsement list consisting of prominent billionaires, Wall Street bankers, and corporate CEOs who have attacked his candidacy and policies. You can tell who is truly fighting for working families by the enemies they make, and we've made a lot of enemies, Sanders says in the statement. We understand that nothing will fundamentally change for working Americans unless we have the guts to take on the most powerful corporate interests in the country. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that corporate CEOs and billionaires have united against our movement, Sanders added. These people have a vested interest in preserving the status quo so they can keep their grip on power, so they can continue to exploit working people across America. We welcome their hatred. The Sanders campaign lists the Vermont senator's anti-endorsements on a new webpage. The page includes billionaire Democratic mega donor Haim Saban, who I didn't know was such an absolute piece of shit. There's a Saban theater in Los Angeles, and people build him up to be some kind of great. He's actually he's not a good guy. Haim Saban, who attacked Sanders as a disaster zone in an interview published Wednesday. On the list, Home Depot co-founder Kenneth Langone, CKE restaurant CEO Andy Puzder, Verizon CEO Lowell McAdam, Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, who was a pal of Barack Obama's, Disney CEO Bob Iger, General Electric CEO Jeffrey Immelt, Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein, Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, centrist think tank Third Way. If you know anything about these guys, the Third Way, they're also right-wing corporatists, trying to operating under the cloak of liberalism or whatever. Former Goldman Sachs partner Leon Cooperman, Home Depot co-founder Bernard Marcus, and billionaire hedge fund manager Stanley Druckenmiller. I want to read the one from Haim Saban. If I can get to this quickly. My computer is moving slowly. If my lips aren't matching up to my words, it's because I have too many web browsers open, which is a common... Okay, come on, man. No, thank you. A common problem of mine. I need to close all my web browsers and start from the beginning. So where is... Okay, billionaire mega donor Haim Saban says he loves all 2020 Democrats, except Bernie Sanders. Yeah. So, what also is great about this is that this is like the opposite of what happened in 2016, right? Where Hillary Clinton had all the superdelegates like lined up behind her before the primary even started. And it was all about, getting, all the big endorsements were going to Hillary Clinton, right? So before all, there's a few endorsements going out to like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and even Elizabeth Warren is getting endorsements from like Wall Street. That's not strange. People are already kind of trying to line up their endorsements, and Bernie Sanders, it goes in the opposite direction. Guess what? I'm just going to get the people that hate me. I'm going to make a list of all the people that hate me and all the endorsements I don't have to show you what kind of campaign I'm really running and where my heart really lies. Stroke of genius. Beautiful stuff. Lastly, I'm going to finish up this with this video with, just a little bit of some feel good. Once in a while, you got to do that. Atlanta turns 7 acres of vacant land into the largest free food forest in the country. Atlanta. May 29th, 2019. Atlanta has a large expanse of land. Over 7 acres, in fact, that wasn't being used. However, that's all about to change now, as Atlanta City Council has just voted in favor of changing all this vacant space into the state of Georgia's first food forest. This is exactly the kind of things that need to be happening in a potential way forward. We need, food forests. We need community gardens. We need people to be taking over their own food supply and agricultural practices and, sharing this with everyone. No charge for food. As stated, this will be a free food forest. The project, which has been dubbed the Urban Food Forest, will be available to everyone completely free of charge. This amazing forest will have lots to offer, including edible trees, shrubs, and vines, in addition to more traditional community garden beds. It's not all about food either. There's plenty of walking trails, public gathering spaces, and other features too. Effectively, it's like going into a park and simply eating food from the bushes, except this is much larger than any old park. This is awesome. And I love seeing stuff like this, and more stuff like this needs to happen. And that is all I'm going to bring you in today's video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.